and welcome to this Astranti video where we'll be going through the student survey responses for the November 2020 exam sit-in for the CIMA Management Case Study exam. And the precinct company for the most recent sit-in was Priblocks, and there's one more exam sit-in that will take place on this particular precinct company in February 2021. So let's look at how the students responded. Essentially, we sent out a survey to gauge how students felt after the exam, and we sent this out to a wide range of students. So some of the students may have been on the full Astranti course, but others may have only purchased some of our materials like the industry or pre-scene analysis, or they may have just gone with a completely different provider altogether. So we haven't only surveyed students who went with us, we have that wide variety for your information. And those students provided lots of feedback, seeing as they sent these out right after the exam, and students could remember the exact variants, how difficult they felt they were, and what they would do differently. And we're going to use this feedback so that you can apply this information when it comes to revising for the next case study sit-in. You can also learn from these students to prepare and go into the exam with some level of expectation. So this survey is going to be especially useful for those of you who are sitting the Priblocks February 2021 sit-in, since the feedback we received here directly relates to the first Priblocks sit-in. Now, let's look at our first bit of feedback we received. You can see that the question we're asking is how difficult students found the exam compared to what they expected. And it is good to see that a large number of students found the difficulty to be as expected. The same sentiment was shared amongst OCS students, so it should go to show that exam difficulty-wise, provided you prepare, doesn't get markedly difficult between levels. However, a significant number of students did also find the exam difficult, and some found it much more difficult than what they expected. So again, this all goes to show that you also should not underestimate this exam, and in the next slide we'll look at what students wished they had spent more time on, and maybe that will give you an idea of how you yourself can make the exam easier for you to successfully pass it. So what you see now are the results from the survey concerning what students would have wanted to spend more time on if they could do the exam again. And, well, time management, typing speed, answer planning, that all comes under practicing more mocks now, doesn't it? Mocks are an effective way of practicing for the MCS exam, as you obviously practice your typing speed, your time management, because you only have 45 minutes to write them, so you can get good at managing your time, and of course, planning answers. You can't really do this outside of a mock setting, as the mocks that are produced by ourselves are designed to be as close as a replication as what you'll get in the actual exam. So it's possible that those students who found the exam more difficult than expected are also the ones that did not do as many mocks as they would have liked. The other area of interest is the focus on theory revision. Now, this is the information you're expected to apply from your F2, P2 and E2 topics. Now, we'll get onto this in the next slide, but as a quick bit of advice, when revising theory, you should try to focus on revising what you're not comfortable with, and then also trying to do mocks that you think cover those areas that you're not sure of, because actually applying your theoretical knowledge in a mock scenario will help you learn it better than just doing straight revision of those topics. So the big takeaway here is to really practice mocks. That is the #1 guaranteed way of practicing for the exam and increasing your odds of succeeding. So to contrast against what students should do more of, we also have a question of what students thought they should do less of. Starting off, the industry analysis is something that students wish they had done less of. Now, the industry analysis is here to give you some context of the broader industry that the precinct company exists in, and it is there so that you can impress the examiner and show that you understand where Priblocks exists in relation to its wider business environment. But it is not something you should spend the majority of your revision time on. You shouldn't be reading and watching and breathing the industry analysis. Maybe spend a day or so on it at best and refer back to it as and when you need to pull relevant examples, as there are other things like the mocks which will be of more use to you in the long term. Second then is of course the revision of theory. So this is somewhat contradictory to the previous slide. We saw that 31%-ish of students thought they should revise theory more, and 35% felt that they should revise less theory. Well, overall, this is a tough area to recommend advice on one way or the other because it really does depend on the student's personal ability. If a student goes into the exam and gets a question that they are not confident on or did not revise, then they are naturally going to feel that they should have revised more theory. The reverse is true if another student did the exam and all the topics they understood come up. So the short answer is that you need to reflect on the topics you're comfortable with, just like I said before, and the ones that you're not comfortable with, and revise those topics so that you have a better chance of answering a wide variety of subjects that may come up when it comes to the exam. Lastly, we then have the pre-scene analysis. Now, the pre-scene analysis is an important document that you cannot pass the exam without, but it is not something you should spend all of your time reading. You need to look at the analysis, but then you need to practice applying this knowledge in the mock scenarios because you will be getting unseen material in the mocks that is not necessarily mentioned in the pre-scene. So all you need from the pre-scene analysis is a good understanding of the company, maybe get a few details, remember those details so that in the exam, if that information is needed, you don't need to go rummaging through the pre-scene and wasting your time trying to find that information. You can just recall it on hand. And then the last question we asked students was what tip they would give to future students. Now, there are no figures for this as students all gave their own responses, so this is more of a generalization of those responses we received. And it should come as no surprise, and the theme of what I've been saying in this video is that students recommend you sit mock exams. So if you take anything away, just recognize the importance of practicing mocks and also getting them marked so you know what you did wrong, what you did right, and then do another mock and continue to improve your mock writing abilities. Your case study writing abilities. In line with this then is of course time management. You cannot practice your timing without practicing the mocks. So the two go hand in hand along with answer planning. And then a response that came up a few times concerned theoretical knowledge. Some students said to avoid writing about the theory at length and instead focus on applying it to the scenario, and we couldn't agree more. The examiner doesn't want you to spend any more than, at best, a sentence usually, defining a theoretical concept if it is necessary. They are more interested in seeing whether you can apply the theory to the scenario, outline the question in a practical manner. Now, while I've got your attention at the end of this video, I'd like to make you aware of the other products that Astranti sell as part of the case study course. So the first of these is a series of study text and tuition videos, and these come in two flavors. You have our written study text if you prefer learning through reading, or you can watch our videos if you're more of a visual learner. Now, to start with, we have an exam technique study series, which breaks down how to succeed at various case study levels. We'll be looking at exam technique, writing style, and planning that you need to nail to be successful in your case study exams. And to accompany this, we also have a revision series dedicated to the theory side of things. This is because at the case study level, there is a large amount of theory you need to be capable of using in your case study exam. So what we've done here is we've taken the key areas of the theory from the 3 case study levels and condensed them into a series of chapters to help focus your revision. Moving away from the more generic products and onto the products that are specific to the case study pre-scene, the first of these is the pre-scene analysis video series. First and foremost, this contains a series of videos where we break down the relevant pre-scene at the appropriate level of the qualification, page by page. And throughout this video, we bring out all the key points that could be relevant for you in your exam, looking at various topics and things you might need to consider when revising for the case study. And then to supplement the pre-scene analysis, we also have 2 videos. We have the strategic analysis where we give a broad overview of what kind of strategy the pre-scene company is using and where it might be going in the future. And then we also look at the top 10 issues that we think this pre-scene company might be subject to and something that you may need to take into consideration when revising for the case study. We then provide an industry analysis document and accompanying video. CIMA like to see you demonstrate wider industry knowledge in your exam, and this is what this industry analysis does, as it gives you the wider industry knowledge you need in order to fulfill this requirement. Essentially what it is, it's a large document that we've compiled on all the relevant industry information that we have gathered so that you don't have to do the revision yourself. And then to accompany this, we of course have a video that goes over this document to pick out some of the key points for you if you prefer that. We also produce a number of mock exams for every sitting.
We write 5 mock exams for the first exam sitting, and then we add 2 more supplementary mocks for the second exam sitting. We design these mocks around the specific issues relevant to the pre-scene and make them as close to the real thing as you will see in the case study exam as possible. So these are a great way to practice your exam technique and test your knowledge of the pre-scene company under timed conditions. And then to add value to this product, we also offer a marking and feedback service. So we have a range of highly skilled finance professionals working as freelance staff for us, and it is these staff that provide the marking and feedback service. So this is a great service to use in conjunction with our mock exams, as it gives you a great idea of how you're progressing in the areas you need to work on for your case study exam. And then if you're in need of extra exam practice, we also provide a more generic question pack product. So obviously there are only so many questions you could write about on a specific pre-scene. So what this question pack is a series of generic questions on generic scenarios that we come up with at Astranti, whereby we look to test specific topics that come up regularly in the case study exam. So if there is a particular topic you are struggling with and we've only tested once in our mocks, and you'd like more practice on it, then these question packs will be a great product for you to turn to. The penultimate product on this list is a product for those of you who would like to get a full overriding picture in terms of your revision all at once, and these are our masterclasses. So these are our expert tutors who hold 2 masterclasses every exam sitting, and these essentially cover all key aspects that you're going to need to know for your relevant exams. So from particular theories to analyses of the pre-scene, all the way through to tips and tricks you can use in your exam. And finally, such is the confidence we have in the quality of our product that if you do purchase a full course from us and you unfortunately do not pass your exam using our product, then we will offer what we call a pass guarantee. So if you did not pass your exam after purchasing our full course, then you will receive the materials for the next exam sitting free of charge. Okay, thank you very much for listening to that. I hope you find our products useful, and of course I would like to wish you the best of luck in your exam from everyone at Astranti.